Welcome to another travel product review. Today we're going to review the hot air balloon adventure in Napa Valley. Now, the one thing about all of our reviews are they're favorable. What we try to do is put ourselves in the shoes of a visitor looking at this listing on GetYourGuide by providing feedback on the pictures, the text, and the reviews. And then we'll put a 10-minute timer. We won't try to go past that. So let's get the timer started now. And let's get started. Now, the first thing I do on any listing when I take a look at it, I just look at the title. And why that's important, I just want to see what I can learn from that or what my expectations are. So in this case, it's Hot Air Balloon Adventure, Napa Valley. Pretty simple to me, right? And then I'm going to look at the pictures to see if the picture supports the title. And then I'm quickly glancing that there's 10 images. That doesn't seem like a lot, so I can go through them quickly. And then my ideal thing on pictures is about 13 to 15. I've been saying that on a lot of my reviews. This is just a little bit under. Let me see what I can expect or think about when I go through these pictures. So the first thing I do, this is a beautiful shot of a hot air balloon going through Napa Valley. And then I'm clicking through another shot that looks a little higher up. That looks a little scary to me, right? Another time it looks like they're setting up the balloon. They're given another shot from the ground, another shot from a higher up angle. This is where they're kind of landing. The one thing about landing on a hot air balloon, I've done this tour before, is they don't really know where they're going to land. So you might land in a neighborhood, parking lot, school. That's something to consider too. So don't be afraid when you see them landing somewhere. And then a few of them looks like they're taking off. That's the takeoff spot, and a bunch kind of floating together, and a bunch of different shots. So the only thing I don't see in any of these pictures is I don't see what the basket looks like and how much space goes. I will share that if you have young kids, I've already reviewed this and looked at it. The minimum age is 6 years old, but the basket's kind of high. So you have to make sure that the kids are tall enough for that basket, but I don't see what the basket looks like. You have different sections of the basket that each group goes in. You might be in a section with like 4 people, and that's something to consider. I'd like to see that as well. And then what the starting point looks like. I know I've looked at this earlier. They say they have coffee and a couple things beforehand. I don't see any pictures of that. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like to take a look at who's putting this on. The Napa Valley Aloft Hot Air Balloon Ride. So it looks like this company, an activity provider, is providing the tour themselves. And then I'm just glancing at 46 reviews. That seems a little low compared to everything that I've been looking at online on GetYourGuide. And it might be just because it's a new product. And now the next thing I do and look is free cancellations, duration 4.5 hours, and live tour guide in English. And then I just kind of quickly glance at the price, $295 per person. And then I want you to know that when you go on GetYourGuide, always click on this section and just go through the process, because sometimes they put packages in there that you won't see unless you actually go through this selection process. So we're going to select adults, children. We're going to look at the dates to see if what we can learn. Sometimes you'll see a different price, or you'll see some blockout dates. I don't see anything like that, so we'll just put April 12th, and now we're going to look at availability. So this is where you'll see some other sections where they might have their packages there, and it looks like you save a few dollars when it comes to children. And then quickly I glance, it starts at 6:15 a.m. And then that goes for the pricing. And then I quickly glance down at the highlights. Now, the reason why I look at the highlights, obviously this is what the company is highlighting. They want you to know this is the best information. Marvel at one-of-a-kind views of Napa Valley and its surrounding scenery, float over rolling hills, idyllic vineyards, and picturesque Mount St. Helena. Be enchanted by the pleasant, light, and peaceful sounds of the early morning from your hot air balloon. Now, I can tell you, the only sounds that you may hear is the from the balloon putting more air to go a little bit higher. That's the only sounds. Very peaceful when you're cruising through. And the full description, I like when a description's kind of short. I'm not going to read all this, but I'm just looking to say, depending on the wind conditions, float anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 feet, and checking with certified pilot. I'm just glancing because I think what happens is a lot of people just glance over the information, and that's why a shorter description might be useful here. And now I'm going to do a 1 hour flight over Napa Valley. This is what it includes: certified pilot, coffee, snacks at check-in. That's why I like to see the coffee and snacks at check-in. And where is check-in? I didn't see any pictures of that. Now, and gratuities are not included. What's not suitable for is children under 6 years old, pregnant women, people with mobility impairments, wheelchair users, people afraid of heights, people with vertigo, people with recent surgeries. What I didn't see, because I've taken a hot air balloon, is a height requirement. And I think that's important to note, because if you're too small, you might not be able to look down. I would like to see that updated on the listing. And a couple things to know: see more. The local operator offers complimentary shuttle in the town of Yountville. Flight that ranges from 40 minutes to more than an hour, depending on, it looks like they didn't finish. Please make sure to indicate your hotel at the time of check-in. On a foggy mornings in Yountville, the local operator will shuttle the group to an exclusive launching area in the northern region of the valley, which is 45-minute drive. Got to have flexibility. Infants, there we go. Infants, children under 6 years old who cannot see over the side of the basket, at least 4 foot tall. There is where we got. I'd like to see it a little bit higher. And passengers standing during the flight in the balloons do not have doors. You will need to be able to get in and out of the hot air balloon. I think you got to climb up and over. So that's the only thing if you're a little bit older. Now let's take a look at how much time I got. I got about 3.5 minutes. And remember, I'm doing these reviews live. So when I come across some of the information, I'm kind of responding as I see it. Now, before we get to the reviews, what I want to share is I don't represent this company, and I do not represent GetYourGuide. I'm simply providing feedback on what I see when I look at negative reviews and what others might see as well. So I just wanted to share that before we get started. But let's get started on the reviews. Oh, I want to add one more thing. We are going to understand that there's going to be a problem with the time difference. Weather is going to be a factor, and I would say it was short, right? Because it's weather conditions. So let's take a look at these reviews. I just do like 1 or 2 negative reviews. Canceled due to weather. Come on, really? That's expected. My activity was canceled by the operator. I want my refund. So already these negative reviews, before I even got started, you can understand that this is a weather-related thing. Why should that negative review be there if it's a weather-related activity? And I think that's where some of these online travel agency websites should consider removing some of these after a year. Now let's include 3 stars. We don't have any 3 stars. And 4 stars. Let's look at some more. Cool, helpful. So doesn't really have that many negative reviews. So we're a little bit early. So, when it comes to negative reviews and the rating that they put here on the listing here, that it's like 4.7 stars, it's really not fair. So don't always look at these reviews and the stars to dictate your experience. But I hope that this video provided some feedback and answered some questions that you may have. If you're the tour operator, you might want to consider changing a couple things just to make it a little bit clearer, a little bit earlier when they're looking at that review. And that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in purchasing this activity, I'll put a link in the video's description. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And if you visit Napa Valley, you have to do the hot air balloon. It's definitely fun and a cool thing to do.